prime time on the top game, it's a fine line. Man of the match, that's Daveye, he's the main guy, keep a close eye. Make sure you don't make no wrong play, cause I'm with Jose and Andre. And when Cyrus comes to walk in, you better know that you are watching Premier League. Daveye, tell what time we on. Prime time. Let me hear you say Premier League. Daveye, tell what time we on. Prime time.
Hello and welcome to Premier League Primetime, and we're here to give you a post-match breakdown of course, I would assume what would have been match of the day from this past weekend. Liverpool 2, Manchester United 2 at Anfield. Yes, Man United scored goals. Man United actually, and not only goals at Anfield too. But who else other than Kenneth would I bring up for this? Firstly, unlike Trent, how are you doing?
I am feeling like Trent. That's the thing. This was disappointing. There's no better adjective to describe how this match went down besides disappointing from a Liverpool.
What do you think went wrong in particular? Because I was stunned to see that somehow you could say that we arguably could have or should have won the game.
I would agree with that. I think it has to do with the combination of overconfidence and utilizing the wrong players in the wrong positions. We'll dive into that a little bit shortly, but having Curtis Jones as a CAM, let's just say it's not the smartest tactical move by someone who has surprised the Premier League with his tactics this season. But disappointed, extremely.
Do you think that there are other things that Arne Slot got tactically wrong, whether it's tactics or team selection? I mean, I was surprised that, Konate went straight into the team, seeing that he just only came back injured. Against West Ham.
I think that is one of the factors, but at the same time, Kwanzaa would have been our alternative center back, and Endo hasn't really he could play as a center back, but he's never played a game as a center back for us. So just having to test the waters with those two individuals who usually play as a CDM, it's not exactly the best idea. Jogo obviously picked up a pretty nasty injury. He's not going to be back for a while. He was obviously like a pretty good replacement for Konate for the time being. But seeing that Arne Slot just subbed Konate into the starting 11, I don't know how it makes me feel, because at the same time, I don't think it was Slot that was overconfident in how this match would play out. I think it was more of the players and their mentality, and you could see how it played out. I think we were without a doubt the worst team out of both of them. But I would also agree that there was a lot of tactical changes that needed to be addressed, such as having Trent play as an attacking wingback, especially in a match, having to go up against the mighty Lisandro Martinez, and just having these Man U players that were actually playing for the badge. That was a huge difference. I saw Man U actually play for the badge. So while tactically I do agree that there was a lot of mismatches, but I think a lot of it is to blame on the players themselves, because there was all this hype saying that, what Liverpool's going to do to Man U on Sunday should not be televised or whatnot. And it got televised indeed. And it was disappointing, but it was a great match to watch. I think as a neutral, whether you're neutral, a Liverpool supporter or a Manchester supporter, there is no doubt this was a fantastic game to view.
No, definitely. I think from a neutral standpoint, it was definitely quite the entertaining.
This was a proper derby. This was a proper Northwestern derby. This is how Liverpool and Man U, like how they start to become rivals. And obviously, in the past 3 to 4 years, this rivalry seemed to go one-sided. But after yesterday, it seemed like there's still a little bit of light at the end of the tunnel for Manchester United.
But also, I mean, our clubs are the biggest in are the two biggest clubs in England. We're the two biggest clubs in English football. Without a doubt, I'm not hearing any cases for anyone else, Arsenal, all that. No, absolutely not. No Arsenal, not Chelsea, not Man City. No, historically, it's Liverpool, Manchester United, and it's those two. Historically, the two big giants. Although one of them has acted more like a giant than the other in the last 10 years, which I think makes it even worse, especially for how poorly we have been. Not only this season, the new managers come in. We've had a brief sort of honeymoon period, but it wasn't really a honeymoon period, to be honest with you, because you look at the games that we've lost and you look at our league positioning. Not that great. So, yes, we want a point, but a bit of cookings here and there, but we're still 13th. I mean, we're a point behind Tottenham, so if Arsenal win the North London derby, I think next weekend, and if we win, what should be a very, very difficult match against 20th place Southampton, we'll then be above Tottenham. But you talked about Trent, and of course, there's a lot going on with Trent, as unless the Liverpool fans have been under a rock, haven't seen the rumors of Trent leaving the club in the summer. What are your thoughts on that just overall? Do you think maybe in this match, it's starting to turn its head?
Can you give me 5 seconds plugging it in?
Because, look at the West Ham game, when Trent scored that absolute brilliant goal.
That was a rocket. That was an absolute
He was
rocket.
celebrating like this, saying, I don't know what that meant, whether, he was saying, keep on talking about me, or, everything that's going around me is nonsense. I don't know what it was. Although Arne Slot came out and thought what Trent was doing was in a positive light. I don't know. Because Jude Bellingham done the exact same thing the season before he left, and you see what happens. I'm not saying, it's definitely going to happen, but just, on the whole, things with Trent, what are your overall thoughts on the Trent, Real Madrid next season on a free? And do you think that's maybe in this match has started to turn his head a bit?
Yeah. I guess going back to your earlier point, what you said regarding West Ham, the whole celebration that he did after scoring that beautiful goal, by the way, delicious, absolutely lovely. I think there's a lot of it surrounding it, because you could argue the case for either or, saying keep talking, I'm going to stay at my boyhood club, or keep talking, I'm going to go wherever I want. It's kind of difficult to say, because you bring up the incident that happened with Jude Bellingham in Borussia Dortmund. Except the difference, when he did that in Dortmund, he actually kissed the badge, which in my opinion is a little bit more disrespectful to kiss the badge and then leave immediately for arguably the greediest club in the history of football. So I don't actually know how to really interpret that. I think Slot always has arguably one of the best post-game interviews. He always knows what to say. He never, ever, ever lets the media stir his words into a narrative. He always puts it in a way that it could be interpreted quite literally. So regarding that, I think that the rumors regarding Trent about going to Madrid and, the fans' analysis of Trent's celebration, it could go either way, but I just think, I'm going to disagree with Arne Slot. I genuinely think this was a mentality issue for Trent. But the thing is, how much of a mentality issue can it be when you're choosing between your boyhood club, who is number one, who is top of the table in both the Champions League and Premier League, and then going to an arguably kind of crippling Madrid side that is barely winning matches against Valencia? If Trent wants to win trophies, why would he go to the club that is in a very tight title race in La Liga and 20th place in the Champions League? Yes, La Liga is a completely different field. Spain is a completely different territory. But this was definitely a match where Trent, I don't know what happened, because he was playing at home. He was playing at Anfield, and he was playing an absolute stinker, a great game in West Ham, and then he was playing a stinker of a game here. I just think that got to his head, because, like I said, we don't know anything surrounding his contract, and I don't know if his
come out and said anything really at all.
None of the big three, actually, except Salah. Salah's the only one that has said that the club has.
The one thing that I will say is that I'd say in all of sport, any sport whatsoever, there's one knock in sport that when they come knocking, you listen. And that's the greatest for me, the greatest sports team in regards to just purely winning. The knock of Real Madrid, you listen to that knock. There are very few players which didn't. Gerrard's one of them, of course. And when you look at Real Madrid, if there's one thing that they can and what they will do is they win. And in an interview with this journalist, Liz Bazzuti, shout out to him as well, brilliant journalist, he asked Trent Alexander-Arnold, what do you want to be remembered for, like legacy-wise? And Trent responded with, I want to be remembered, I want to look back on my career and look at all the things that I've won, all the trophies. And if there's one team that can guarantee you to win everything, it's Los Blancos. And Trent's won everything for Liverpool. He's won it all. And especially if he wins the Premier League and the Champions League, which Liverpool could very well do, he really would have, won everything, especially as one of the vice captains as well. So I think if you're any other club, you could definitely make, a case. And especially leaving on a free. I mean, Jude Bellingham left and Dortmund got a sufficient amount of money. This is a boyhood, alleged Liverpool
Pure
fan,
scouts.
Liverpool
Pure
supporter.
scouts.
He's come through the ranks. I mean, if he leaves, a player that gifted, if he leaves and the club see nothing, I mean, if I were a Liverpool supporter, I'd be pissed as well. If if they saw him leave for absolutely nothing, which he could very well do come this summer. But I don't know. It'll be interesting to see because Liverpool are right now, of course, they're competing. They're, if they don't win it, one could say bare minimum, they have competed tremendously for the title. They have competed tremendously for the Champions League. And, Real Madrid, for me, like I said earlier, they're the greatest sports institution in all of sport when it comes to winning, when it comes to success, when it comes to trophies. That sports institution, when they knock, you listen. And there are not many sort of clubs that have that, I don't like using this word, but aura, that that specialness about them.
The prestige.
I don't know, man. It'll be interesting.
It's a bit interesting because, I did read about that interview regarding how Trent wants to have a strong legacy, but then also when you look back at what Klopp said to Coutinho, who also left and was a huge flop. If you leave, if you stay, they will build this. They will build a statue.
Another player or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. Because here's the thing: I was really upset about this whole Trent situation, but I've kind of accepted that no player, not a single player, is bigger than the club ever, and that's the thing. It's also, but also here's the thing: I would be a little bit more upset had we not have Connor Bradley, who has been outstanding for us.
You have the right back replacement already there. And the one thing that I will say is that Jurgen Klopp does have a point. But however, when you think of, when Real Madrid came for Gerrard is he is Mr. When I think Mr. Liverpool, you think of Steven Gerrard. When during the Coutinho era, Coutinho was Mr. Liverpool. However, when I think of Mr. Liverpool now, I'm not thinking Trent. The first image that comes to mind is Mo Salah. Mo Salah is Mr. Liverpool. When someone says Liverpool Football Club, it's the first one that comes to mind. Mo Salah. All right, next one. Van Dijk.
Arguably Premier League. I mean, nowadays,
so Trent
people think of
has
Premier League.
Been for this Liverpool side. He's been a piece in all the success, an important piece, but he's been a piece. He's not. I wouldn't say he's the face of the club, if you know what I mean. I'd say that's more Mo Salah. And Klopp has a good point. But however, in Madrid, sure, you could say you be peace as well, but you be peace that would be, bare minimum. You're competing every single year for the title. Every single year. One of the, if not one of the main contenders to win the league. One of the main contenders to win the Champions League every single season. So I don't know. It'll be interesting to see. I mean, Trent looked like Trent from 2 seasons ago, which I personally enjoyed very much from my own personal
Trent can
standpoint.
defend. Yeah, I guess before we move on, the thing is, it's also like I can't really blame Trent for this sort of contrast of emotions because, like you said, the biggest club in the history of football is always going to be Madrid. Like when Madrid knocks, anyone would answer. There are certain individuals who will stay loyal, but at the same time, Trent has already won the UCL. Trent has already won the Prem. Trent's already won the FA. Trent's already won the Carabao Cup. He's already won these trophies that have a lot of prestige. I understand if he wants to win a lot more, but in the current position that we're in, where he doesn't know where to go, where Liverpool are flying at the top of the league, well, not anymore after we tie with you guys, where Liverpool are doing exceptionally, really well under.
You still have a game in hand, though. Don't forget, you still have a game in hand. Overall,
it's Everton. Everton has surprised a lot of big sticks. So,
but you still have a game in hand, though, over everyone else. Because remember, the Merseyside derby was.
Yes, that's what I'm referring to. But I'm saying I'm not extremely optimistic about the Merseyside derby because we kind of bottled the league at Goodison Park last year. But I know, like, if I was Trent, I would also be kind of conflicted. Like, this is my boyhood club. I've already won everything with them. I'm a young footballer. I want to,
He's
explore. 26.
26. I wouldn't
He's
say he's young.
26.
I'd say he's in his prime years now.
He's in his prime, but at the same time, I don't like. If I was Trent, like, I want, like, sure, I want to, I want to look back at my legacy, but at the same time, like, there is uncertainty about building a legacy at either club based on how Madrid is performing now and based on how Liverpool's performing now. So I can't really blame, but at the same time, those are certain things that you cannot let affect you, especially in a match where Nottingham Forest are catching up, where Nottingham Forest are sailing. They are surprising everybody. You cannot afford to throw away these points, and you cannot let, like, the decisions or like the talks or the rumors of the fans affect you. That is that is how you distinguish of, like, an amateur footballer versus a professional footballer. Like, not letting the mind games get to you. And Trent, he's not exactly young. He's 26. He's an adult. He has to figure it out. But like I said, if Trent wants to leave, that is fine. He's won all the silverware he could with this club. But at the same time, he's not going to get the statue he wanted. Mm-hmm. And I'm pretty sure a statue counts as legacy.
I mean, he has a mural in Liverpool. I mean, we both seen it. We both seen the Trent mural in Liverpool. But do you think that the situation could have been completely avoided? Looking at FSG, how they have let Mo Salah, Van Dijk, Alisson, and Trent be all run down into the final 6 months of their contracts. I mean, that's an absolute shambles. This should have been something they should have dealt with, time ago,
months ago.
But I know Liverpool. I think what I've heard, Liverpool, I think, have drawn up a $300,000 a week contract and have done it to Trent. So now the ball's completely in his court of what he wants to do.
I think it's 325. I think it was 78 million pounds, I believe, for 5 years, somewhere along those lines. But yeah, around like 300,000.
Liverpool really are in. Don't really have a choice if they want to keep him. I see the situation very similar to the Marcus Rashford situation when he was having the purple patch. We let him run down into the final year into his contract. I think there's an extra year, which we triggered the option.
Is he not living the
really? Which really this was after season 1 at Ten Hag, when when he had that so-called great year and all that, he was his contract would have expired if not for the additional option to trigger, which the club did, and which the ball and the powers completely in Rashford's court, and lo and behold, Man United had to pull out the $350,000 a week in order to keep him and not lose him for nothing. And if Trent does accept this new deal, I could very well see, even more so, Mo Salah out the door because of the wages that they're going to give Trent if Trent signs a new deal. At the end of the day, it's gotten down to that point, and really they should have never been in this position in the first place. But it is what it is, man.
I agree with that. Wait, before you move on, let me take 10 seconds. I think a lot of that, like the Mo Salah and Van Dijk thing, like these guys are like they're like 32, 33. I think that has to do something with the reasoning why they have not been extended. I think like they've let the contract come very close to expiring for that reason, seeing if these individuals go out of form. But it's been the complete opposite, which makes me even more mad. Seeing that Salah, I mean, I don't think a lot of people are gonna disagree with this. He's the best player in the world right now, and Van Dijk,
he's the most informed player in the world. Absolutely, that's not a question.
And then Van Dijk, like either the best or second best after Saliba, in terms of center backs. He like they're both phenomenal. The whole logic.
I think Saliba's a bit overrated, man. Saliba has an immense amount of talent, but he has his bozo moments. He does. I think Gabriel's better than Saliba personally. But
this season, Gabriel has been fantastic, yes. But that's the thing too. It's also like, are we going to scrap these wages for an individual who has already expressed, like not the strongest interest in staying at his boyhood club, or are we going to utilize those funds to keep the best player and the best right wing and the best center back, like in the Premier League right now? It's a tough debate between FSG, but they have the money.
No, yeah, they absolutely have the money. However, I think
that angers me.
I don't think to have them all on hugely improved wages in terms of contracts. I don't know if they have the money for that, but they definitely have the money to keep a good portion of them. However, I think now they live got to a situation where it's now like, let's say, taking a look at this group, at the main leadership group whose contracts expired, who's the most easily replaceable? You could say Allison and you could say Trent, because you got Marshvadili coming in from Valencia, good promising young goalkeeper, and you have Connor Bradley already there, and you could sign, I don't know, maybe another decently promising right back, fullback. It's really Van Dijk. I'd say Van Dijk and Salah are the two who are the most irreplaceable that you have. Sure, you could find an amazing, promising prospect of a centre back, but are they going to have the leadership experience and composure that Van Dijk has? No. Are you going the cost of a footballer that produces the same output as Salah does is going to cost you over 150 million. 150 million. That's irreplaceable. So, if I'm Liverpool right now, I prioritize those two because I think those two are the most important. I'll give Salah that money, Van Dijk that money that apparently
immediately.
Trent, and I know that Trent is younger and he's more years down the line, but I think for what Liverpool have right now, if they lose Trent, I think, yes, they'll lose an amazing passer of the ball and all that, but they have Connor Bradley, who I think is also, he's decent, of course not as good as Trent going forward, but, he's very good defensively as well. A very good, well-rounded fullback, a good modern-day fullback who can definitely play. So that's just my opinion on the Trent saga. Now, to move, there is a certain thing that I found very difficult to find apart from 2 goals. I didn't, I don't know if I was blind, but I didn't see any Liverpool attackers, and as you know who I call that bum Diaz. I told you guys about that bum Diaz when he absolutely ripped us out of Old Trafford, and I said, look, we're just absolutely crap. This manager needs to go. The system is dreadful. Once we had a cohesive defensive unit in place, Diaz has turned into Diaz. What happened to Diaz, man? And what happened to Mo Salah, bro? Apart from the goal, I didn't see him anywhere. Man like Lissandro Lannister, bro. Man like Lord Farquaad locked him up. Put him in shackles, or he locked him up. Penitentiary settings for Mo Salah, apart from that penalty, which, bro, Onana almost saved, bro. But one thing I have to say, bro, fair play to Gakpo. Fair play to Gakpo, though, because that was a brilliant goal that he scored. Beautiful. That was a brilliant finish. De Ligt got sent back to
He loves
Ajax.
that. He loves the right side of the net. He loves hitting that right side of the net.
Such a stupid goal to concede, man. Like, Gakpo's known to cut inside and shoot. And
he sent De Ligt to the shops, man. With that little cut.
Mazraoui's also at fault from that. But, bro, Diaz, the Diaz playing through the middle. I'm not sure if it...
Here's the thing. Slot has experimented with utilizing Diaz as a false 9, like the past few games, and that's worked out fantastically. But it's not really his natural position. It's his left wing position. This entire season has been a debate between Cody Gakpo and Luis Diaz on the left side. And I think, and then Arne Slot, I guess, in this game and a couple others, he said, hey, why not having both? Which I think is a little bit disrespectful to Diogo Jota, who is arguably one of the better and more clinical finishers.
He's one of your best finishers, but he's just flipping injured all the time.
He's a glass cannon. But he was certainly fit for this game. I mean, that's the thing too. It's Gakpo on the left is his more like both of their natural positions are on the left, but I think
Gakpo's better suited through the middle because he's bigger, he's better aerially. But it's not to Luis Diaz's fault. He's not going to win headers against Harry Maguire. He's just not.
Never.
He's absolutely not. Gakpo's probably going to do that job better. However, Gakpo's been so good from the left-hand side. It's like, are you really going to move him when Diaz is doing okay to decent in the middle? Are you really going to make the change? I don't know. Which, more times than not, it's worked up until yesterday, which, of all games, I don't know how. Yeah,
but there's an overconfidence.
What up with Salah, too?
Salah,
not letting him get away with that. I don't care if he scored against us.
Get away either, even though I'm wearing his shirt. I support the Salah glazing every time. He breaks a record.
Especially when he scores against Henry. Us. It's like that GTA meme. It's just like that GTA meme.
Oh shit!
Like
Here we go again.
No, not even that. You know the GTA meme. It's like I forgot the name of the character, but it's him and the dog on the leash. It's that one.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. is it Franklin with his dog?
Yeah,
I think
yeah. It's Franklin and
I
his
think
dog.
his name's Chop. Yeah, yeah. I think that is what it is. We have Salah on Franklin, and you have like
That's
Man U on
exactly what
Luis.
it is. Mo Salah literally
Yeah,
owns my football
yeah.
club, man.
Mo Salah.
Just leave, so I don't have to be terrified of him anymore. Please, just go, leave. I hope Salah leaves.
It was overconfidence. I think the overconfidence also has been stemming from like the past few matches. Like I'm pretty sure he had like 10 shots on target against West Ham, where every time he had the ball, he would try to put it in the back of the net. And I think he tried to I think this overconfidence kind of got him. And
Allegedly,
besides
there was a fight after the match. I don't know if you heard, but there was allegedly a fight in the changing room after between. I think it was between Van Dijk and Trent. But apparently a fight broke out allegedly after the match. Which,
I look into that because, like, from what I heard, I heard there was like a little discussion between Salah and Connor Bradley when Connor Bradley tried shooting it and Salah was a little bit open. But Salah was kind of a ghost yesterday. He was kind of like impersonating Haaland, and he was just not on the pitch. And I mean, like you mentioned, the attackers, Curtis Jones. It felt like we were playing 10 versus 11. Curtis Jones, I couldn't.
Another player we've been praising this season, man. He's been another one. Like Trent, he's another one that we've been praising this season for how good he's been. But
he's been great. Yeah. That's the thing. After he had his kid, he was putting on a phenomenal performance. But putting him in the CAM position as a starter, that is not how Curtis Jones actually plays. Arne Slot had his classic 4-2.
He's a box-to-box.
Classic 4-2-3-1. Yeah, he's a box-to-box midfielder like McAllister and Gravenberch. But at the same time, are you really going to replace McAllister and Gravenberch, who have been having a fantastic season, for Curtis Jones, who has only this season has been performing well? Sure, you can make the argument that Gravenberch.
He's always been a squad player, to be fair. Like he's not. He's like, and he's in and out of the side. He's like he's like you lot's Darren Fletcher, for example. You could play Curtis Jones. If there's a big Champions League game, you could play Curtis Jones in there, and more times than not, I'll give you a 7 out of 10 minimum. Steady Eddie. Which you need players like that.
Horrible performance yesterday.
Right, yeah.
I think it really caught. I mean, I think there could have been a better way to either go about this. Soboslai was ill, so obviously could not be he cannot be in the rotation. But I genuinely think Endo could have had a little bit.
Hungarian Conor Gallagher.
Oh, Soboslai had a horrible second half of the season. Under Klopp, under his first season, but now he's performing pretty well as a CAM. He's like. He usually plays as like a playmaker, having like a half winger. He
also gives him the freedom to just, be. I don't know. It gives him the freedom to just be cardio and vibes.
It is. He's cardio. Like that guy has a lot of stamina. He's given permission to run around anywhere, like a CAM is. But I genuinely think if we would have put Endo instead of Curtis and then had Endo and Grav as the box-to-box midfielders and had McAllister as a CAM, who they were praising last season as the new Gerrard, which I disagree with. I feel like it could have been a completely different performance. And maybe actually starting Jota over Diaz. Yes, he's very injury-prone, but at the same time, are you really going to, die? Like, are you really going to go into every game with that mentality saying, oh, what if? No, I just think, Diaz experimenting as a false 9, this is not one of those games. I mean, sure, that's what I'm saying about overconfidence. Like, historically, like Liverpool within the past 5 years have bashed Man United, and then to play Diaz and to play Diaz as a false 9, which he has not done within like his past 3 years at Liverpool, except under Slot. It was a bit of a risky move, and we 100% paid the price for it, without a doubt.
Definitely. There's two other players that we definitely need to go over before we get into your player ratings. Before if you have any questions on the Man United side of things, feel free. Andy Robertson. Every game that I watch this guy play this season, he just looks like he's just more and more out of his depth, and I'm seeing Liverpool linked to more and more left backs.
He's old.
Is it time to say goodbye to Robbo?
I think it's time to say goodbye to. I'd say we let Robbo finish the season, but I think it's time to say goodbye to him and possibly Costas. Costas is not particularly young either. Liverpool are attempting to sign Alphonso Davies, who's one of the best left backs I've seen in modern football. I don't think that's going to happen to begin with, but I think it is.
He might be teaming with Trent, though. I think he might still play with Trent.
Yeah, at Blackburn Rovers, maybe. Yeah, I agree with that.
Tranmere Trent.
Yep. Robo to LAFC. Here we go. But no, Andy Robertson, a lot of fullbacks lot of complete fullbacks are able to defend, go back, but Andy Robbo within the past 3 years has been declining in that aspect. I'm sure the other fullback on the right side also relates to this. But, I think Robbo has always been a talent. He's always been special. He's a great guy, but yesterday he just did not have the game. He was getting ripped apart, and he was arguably a little bit better than Trent. But at the same time, those flanks were exposed. Like those
Trent,
two
aka
were
Jabari
weak
Banks, bro. Man was looking like Jabari Banks, bro, playing on that right hand side, bro. I'm telling you, bro. Man like Jabari Banks, bro. Oh, I'm telling you.
Yeah, but
Robo with that trim, bro.
Robo could have been a lot better, absolutely defensively. He's a great talent at passing. His passing has also declined. His vision is still there. He still has great vision, but there's one thing you can't prevent, not even in football, but also in life, is age, and that's kind of getting to him. Unfortunately, he does not have the touch like Salah and Van Dijk, who are in their 30s and arguably in their second prime, as one would say. But yesterday, like most of the games this season, he did not have a good performance. In terms of match ratings, I would give Robo.
Before we go into the player ratings, actually, there is one player that I would like to talk about as well. Darwin Núñez. Are
you talking about for yesterday's game or just in general?
Both. For me, when I saw him bearing down on goal, getting absolutely pocketed by Lenny Yoro firstly, but then what he done to, what was it, Delict? It's pure stupidness, man. Like, do you think Liverpool have just had enough of this guy?
He is lucky to not have gone to red. Because he took a good look at Delict.
He looked at, what was it, Delict?
He looked at and then continued to execute that. This man was on 4 yellow cards already. I don't know what the fuck he was thinking. Núñez does not know how to control his anger at all. He has these
What's your
issues.
stance on him? What do you do with him? Clearly, Schlott doesn't rate him all that highly. He's been mainly used as a rotation player off the bench. What do you do with him?
I don't even think it's time to sell him. I genuinely think it's time to put the boots up. Like, we have gotten to that point where, I mean, hopefully, like, there's been talks between like AC Milan and him. Hopefully, that's like a little bit different. But at the same time,
I heard the same with Rashford, man. I heard the same with Rashford. I'm hoping yours are incorrect and mine are true, man. That's I'm hoping.
Realistically, I think Núñez had 31 GA last season. I wonder how much did Rashford have. But no, I think it's time for Núñez to go. It sucks to say that because he plays for the badge every single game that Núñez plays. I never see him like run slow. This man is always sprinting. This man has infinite jogging. Not to mention he's super fast. He is always like playing. Like no matter what he's doing, Núñez is always
playing
involved.
For the badge.
He's playing for the badge, and like that's the one reason why I believe like the fan base has not like they've criticized him, but they haven't been completely done with him. He is not a striker.
You may as well Scott McTominay if you just want someone to play for the badge, right? Because there's someone that plays for the badge. Scott McTominay loves playing for the badge. But is he good enough? But does that mean he's good enough? No.
No, and especially and the thing is
75 what was it? Like 80 plus million, 100 million like total package, 100 million euros like total package deal. Looking a bit spooky, man.
This was this is one of the bigger scams I think in Liverpool signings. I would have to say that. I think that
shows
it might
Klopp's talent ID perhaps isn't the greatest. Klopp may be a great manager, however, that doesn't
I
necessarily
disagree
mean
with that.
Talent.
He got Gravenberch, McAllister, and Endo, and Soboslai, who have been phenomenal this season. So I wouldn't say that.
No, that was the sporting director who was I've forgotten his name, but remember this? I think he was the former. He was the sporting director at some Bundesliga side, and he came into Liverpool. No, not him. But he was a technical director, sporting director, just on like for a summer to help them with their window to rebuild a bit. And it was that summer
Klopp has no involvement in that whatsoever. Come on, man.
He brought in the likes of Endo. He brought in the likes of, I think McAllister was just an overall club signing. It was a 35 million release clause. I think everyone was like, okay, yeah. Everyone just gave thumbs up. But he was the one that brought in Soboslai. He brought in Endo, who Klopp also wanted way before that sporting director was even there. Gravenberch was another signing from that sporting director. Remember, in the first Michael Edwards stint, Klopp wanted, I think, Julian Brandt and Götze and Michael Edwards said no, but instead I'm going to give you Mane and Salah, and the rest is history. So, you thought Nunez was a good signing. Remember how much he raved Gabriel Martinelli. Imagine if you would have signed Martinelli, man like Martin Kelly, bro. So and look, not all managers have good talent, Andy. There's nothing to be wrong about it. That's why you have sporting directors to do that job. He's the biggest example of it, but everyone knows that. That's more or less calling out Captain Obvious. Everyone knows that. So it's fairly obvious and out in the open that Ten Hag's talent ID isn't the greatest either. But it shows that even managers as great as Klopp get signings wrong, and Nunez I think might have been one of them, especially for the fee that's coming. I'm from a personal point of view with my own team, I'm in no position to give any teams real stick about overspending on players, because we've done that for years. However, Liverpool number 9, Nunez isn't striking me as like, Liverpool number 9. I've seen Torres, even Heskey needs to say offered something. Robbie Fowler, Ian Rush, Luis Suarez.
We had Suarez. Oh my God!
Didn't supply the goals. Daniel Sturgeon is prime as a joke. Was
a machine. He was a machine.
Bobby Firmino may have not scored the goals, but he was tech on toast. If there's a song that I just love to watch play, it's Bobby Firmino. Tech on toast. And this guy has had a variety of finishes, but also, again, everyone knows why Mane and Salah had so much success was because of that man, Bobby Firmino. May not have been the guy scoring all the goals, but everyone knew he was a pivotal part of that team to play.
He was involved. He was always involved. I agree with that. I mean,
Mane play through the middle at times. So, Liverpool have had number 9s who have been unbelievable. And then the likes of Nunez, even this doesn't strike me as a Liverpool number 9, but I think Liverpool at this point should cut their losses and try and offload and maybe find someone else. Who knows? Ben Doak, maybe Ben Doak. Let's go into the player ratings for Liverpool. Of course, for those who are new here, we do our player ratings from the most brutally unfiltered, honest points of view and feedback as well. Our skills are from 0 to 10 for those who are new here. And let's just get straight into it. Firstly, Alisson in goal. I argue he had no chance for the first goal. Second goal, maybe he could have gotten across a bit quicker and could have done better with that. But scores and makers for Alisson.
Yeah, like you said, I would agree with that notion. I can't really put the entire blame on Alisson for that first goal. I mean, that was an absolute, that wasn't savable. That's top net. You're never saving that as a keeper because you don't expect it to go top net almost ever. But that second goal, as you said, there is that factor that maybe he could have, build have a little bit more positioning. But at the same time, once again, you don't expect your defense. You don't expect Robertson. You don't expect Van Dijk to let someone slip in and just get that goal. As a keeper, you're always relying on yourself, but you're also relying on your defense. The defense should never ever let the goalie work. And especially for a Liverpool team who has been defensively really, really strong this season, that was extremely surprising. So I'm not really going to put all the blame on Alisson, but at the same time, that second goal could have been slightly better. It's not like he could have made a lot of crucial saves. He had a couple saves in there. Probably really surprised that Man U was actually getting that close to the net to begin with. But Alisson, he had a below average game per his standards. After returning from injury, he's still been one of the best in the world. So that there's that going for me. I'm going to give Alisson a 6.
Next, Trent Alexander-Arnold.
And
reminder, there are zeros if need be.
Yeah. Trent was abysmal. This is possibly the worst game I've ever seen Trent Alexander ever.
Really,
ever
the
play.
worst? I might have. Surely there's been worse. I feel like I've seen worse, but I can't recall off the top of my head. I feel like I've definitely seen worse, but no, it was right up there.
This was up there. As Slot said, he always has very good games, and this was obviously not one of his best. Slot always saying the right things, but this was shit. This was absolutely abysmal from Trent Alexander-Arnold. It doesn't really help the allegations that he's received in the past, saying that he can't defend at all. And, having Klopp trying to defend him, saying, yeah, he's an attacking fullback. Obviously, when he runs back, he has to get into position and then defend. I just don't think that's a strong argument at all whatsoever when you have the likes of Connor Bradley also operating as a fullback, so as a wingback sometimes, and him coming back and then obviously being a little defensively more solid than Trent overall. But it seems like Trent was only playing because he had to. I did not see that Trent that I saw score that goal for West Ham the game before. That was not the same player on the pitch I saw yesterday.
So long to take off Trent. For me, if I were I would have hooked him off.
That was so disrespectful to Connor Bradley as well.
He waited so long to take him off. I was surprised.
I'm surprised he didn't sub him out in the locker room. That was awful.
I thought surely you would have taken him off sooner, but I guess not. But Trent Alexander-Arnold, what is your score, Trent?
3.
All right. Centre backs. Konate obviously didn't look like his normal self. Just coming back from injury, and it's very clear that he's coming back from injury. When Garnacho cooks you, that's how you know
you're cooked. Yeah.
That's how you know you're not 100%. Either you're just not very good, or you're not 100%. And it's clear he's definitely not 100% because you've seen how good he has been. But Konate. Ibrahim Konate, what are you saying for his performance in the match?
Konate didn't he didn't execute a single tackle to begin with. He went 0 for 0. So that's for starters for a center back, and for a center back defending against a surprising attacking Manchester United side. That's one thing, but at the same time, I'm not really surprised because Man U was playing a lot of long balls, especially down the wings. But Konate was arguably a little bit stronger in defense than Van Dijk was, which I would get next to in a bit. But you can't really have these high standards especially for a player like Konate of that caliber who's been a brick wall this season, especially when he comes back from injury. But at the same time, if you're Arne Slot, I can't really put the full blame on Konate, I'm sorry, I can't really put the full blame on Slot when you have Kwanzaa, who was awful in that game against Ipswich that Arne Slot called him out on. But
at the beginning of the season, though, he done all right against West Ham. From what I watched the game, he done all right. So I thought,
Kwanzaa is very shaky. Kwanzaa is very shaken, especially with the game against Manchester United. Like I said, the overconfidence and all the talks and that pressure is on you. I don't think Kwanzaa, who's a lot younger than Konate, could actually handle that pressure. But it was obviously not a good idea to put in a 25-year-old. He's 25, but at the same time, he comes back from injury. You can't really put him out there and expect him to perform like he has for the entirety, like the other seasons. By the way, I detest Endrick for what he did to Konate. I hate Endrick.
Wait, what did he do?
He injured Konate.
Oh, okay, yeah. But with Kwanzaa, unlike from what we've, unlike what's been said about what's going on in Kwanzaa's DMs, he's been performing on the pitch for what we've seen. I don't know if you know all the things that have been going around about Kwanzaa. He's not been performing very well in the DMs, but that's all I'll say. We'll get to it. If you know, you know. If you know, you know.
Can't say I look into Kwanzaa's social media allegations that much.
At least performing on the pitch. Now, what are you giving Konate for this game?
I mean, I'm gonna go with average. The thing is, actually, this might be slightly below average because you have Konate, who's had high standards this season. I'm gonna give him a 7.
7, okay. That's a 7's well above average. 7's like decent. That's like 5-6 range is like average.
I mean, Konate's abysmal.
Fair enough.
Konate's abysmal performance are some center backs' best performance in the season.
Oh, for this game though.
For this game, yes, but still, I'm still going to stick with the 7. He was a lot better defensively than Van Dijk was.
Van Dijk.
Oh, my captain, my Dutch captain. I don't know where to begin.
Ponytail Chris Smalling.
Yeah. He had a big chance that he missed. He had 2 long balls that he also missed, and which is very surprising.
Speaking of big chances, do you know what I was so surprised? Especially going to this game. When you look at Liverpool's fullbacks, I'm thinking they're the best crossers of the ball. I'm stunned that, especially at Anfield, where we are notoriously bad. how Liverpool didn't score a single set piece on us.
And you
How
guys have been
bad we have
suffering
been
this season with that.
on set pieces. Everyone's getting joy from us on set pieces. And I'm thinking, because I don't know if you've seen, but like since like the Bayern year thing where Tottenham scored an Olympico, like teams aren't crossing into the box. They're deliberately targeting our goalkeeper, and they're trying to score directly from the corner.
And Cunha as well.
And Cunha did it against
Cunha
Ronaldo.
as well.
Both of our goalkeepers in back-to-back
We
fucking
almost
games.
scored an Olympico on you guys. Onana got a nice punch on that. We almost scored. We almost tried it. We tried it as well.
I was like, after the match, I remember I was like, oh my, we didn't concede a set piece. I can't believe it, but bro, Van Dijk
that's
had a chance, bro.
That's a little bit interesting too, because
away.
that's also why I miss Sobo. Sobo is a lot better with those corners. He's a lot more accurate. There's a reason why.
Trent? He's a better crosser of the ball than Trent.
Than Robo.
Ah, okay.
Than Robo.
But
that's what I meant.
What's your score for Van Dijk? For
Van Dijk, yes. I mean, he was abysmal. He should have approached the defense a lot more better, especially for that Ahmad goal. I mean, it was him and Robinson against him, and not a single one of them. Well, Robinson got megged, and first off, Van Dijk was not even aware. He had very poor pitch awareness, letting a lot of long balls get through, and essentially getting cooked in that center position, which was extremely surprising for Van Dijk, a player of that center back caliber who's been performing, as a 32-year-old fantastically well. But this was one of his worst, and I genuinely think his leadership also wasn't the best. Like this game. Usually Liverpool go into the locker room. They have a nice little pep talk from the captain and the coach, and they usually outperform like the other team in the second half. We got the nickname 3-1 FC for a reason. It went 0-0 first off, but I genuinely think the overconfidence also got to Van Dijk. His leadership was not the strongest at times. Like in the 80th minute, he gave a death stare to Trent Alexander-Arnold. Like there's a clip of Van Dijk just staring down Trent.
I was greasing at that.
Yeah, I mean, as a captain, I don't blame him first off because Trent got cooked by Lisandro Martinez of all fucking people. But that's not something you do. That is not something you do as a captain. You do not you do not dog stare like your right back who made a mistake but is also in like a mental dilemma, with the whole Madrid situation. I genuinely think it could have handled that a lot well and performed a lot better. I just think that got to his head. Having all those responsibilities as a captain, and then seeing that you're like someone in your defensive line concedes a goal, it kind of got to his head. And I think Van Dijk performed pretty poor for his standards. So I'm going to give Van Dijk a 5.
Andy Robertson at left back.
Besides all the points I made earlier, how you first off, Ahmad's a baller, to begin with. But second off, Andy Robertson, the age is getting to him because he's not he's a fast individual, but you could see that in this game, he was clearly unable to mark these players and also had very, very poor pitch awareness. That second Ahmad goal, that should almost never go in. Especially for Van Dijk, who operates as a left center back and then having Rubble as well, that goal should never, ever go in. And to have Andy Robertson, who was in charge of marking those wingers, that was abysmal. That was a piss poor performance from Andy Robertson. First off, he as an attacking fullback, he wasn't able to do either of his jobs. He wasn't able to go back and defend, and he wasn't able to put the ball in the box and actually have someone score. And for someone who was second in the most assists as a defender in the Premier League, this was extremely disappointing from Andy Robertson, and I'm going to actually change my score. I'm going to give Rubble a 4.
Okay. Into the midfield, I'll start with Gravenberch, who I still thought was fairly impressive, though.
Yeah, I agree with that notion as well. This was not one of his better games.
Far from the best we've seen.
Yeah, he did complete the most passes out of the players, because Slot uses him as that pivotal holding seat like box to box / holding CDM who's tasked he works as a pretty good number 6. He's been outstanding this season. But yesterday I can't really blame him for a lot of the chances that we either missed or we converted, because his only job is to hold, defend, and one thing I've noticed about Gravenberch this season compared to other CDMs,
and progress the ball as well. I mean, not just to destroy, but to progress the play forward. And
exactly, I was just I was going to mention that as well. This entire season, under Slot, I have seen him operate as someone. Every time he gets the ball, it's either an immediate pass back to build the play, or he turns and puts the ball forward. And that's what I love about Gravenberch. He is always willing to get that ball forward. And not to mention, he's a pretty tall CDM. That like if this guy wanted, he's also a threat in the box. But I mean, he had that one missed chance, which would have been a rocket of a goal. But to be fair, when you have your CDM, like when you have your CDM making shots, like attempting shots like that, what does that say about the defense? What does that say about the defense of Man U? What does that say about the offense of Liverpool? Like to have something was clearly wrong if you have your number 6 pushing all the way to the very like a couple centimeters away from from the box shooting that. He should almost never be doing that. Like he's no Rodri. He's no he's not Rodri. Like obviously Rodri's role is a lot more different. But to have a CDM that is in charge of progressing the play up and him having to take the shots, I kind of feel bad for the guy. He's been having an exceptional season. Yesterday, I wouldn't say he had a bad performance. I think it was a pretty decently good performance. But how much can you actually do when the rest of your team is not actually appreciating those passes? So gravy. I'm gonna give Gravy a 7.
Alexis McAllister.
I'm gonna say, I mean, in my opinion, McAllister was really, really, really brilliant yesterday. I think he's still one of the bigger steals I've seen in the entire Prem. For 35 million from Brighton, he has been exceptional. He works his box to box, sometimes rotating to that CAM position. But yesterday, having that he racked up an assist. He picked up a lot of dribbles. He had 49 passes, I think, second most in the game. Sure, most of them weren't accurate, but he had a shot on target. He had a big chance created. Like I said, these these stats are big chances, expected goals, all of that. These are not something that you specifically apply to a CAM. Like I said, it's a 4-2-3-1. He's operates a box to box. He should almost never try to take those shots unless obviously he's in role. But I think he was very pivotal as Gravenberch in terms of moving that ball forward, progressing the play. And he's also a pretty strong guy. He's able to maintain that ball and make those tackles and interceptions when needed. Yesterday, that assist was pretty good. To Gakpo, that was a brilliant assist to begin with. I think McAllister out of all Liverpool players, he's the one that usually performs consistently the best, and that's the reason why he's consistently put in the starting 11. McAllister is a talent. Yesterday, he was arguably one of the better players in the entire game for both teams. So I'm going to give McAllister an 8.
Into the last midfielder, Curtis Jones.
Who? Genuinely,
Curtis Jones. That
was a ghost. Curtis Jones, I'm pretty sure I only heard the commentators say his name at least like 4 times. 4 times. This guy was absolutely rubbish. Abysmal. He didn't do a single thing. He had 2 long balls, which he didn't complete any of them. He had 38 touches. He didn't do a single tackle. And he's operating as a CAM. I don't think he took a single shot. I don't think Curtis Jones had the ball at all, which I don't blame him. If Curtis Jones gets that ball and when he's out of position, he's not going to do anything with it. So I'm gonna be upset if Curtis Jones, who has been brilliant this season, but yesterday he absolutely ghosted everybody. That was actually so disrespectful. Like I said, there were a lot of tactical mismatches that Arne Slot could have done, and one of them was not taking Curtis Jones a lot out sooner. When you usually when you play Soboslai in that position, Soboslai performs exceptionally well. Then again, that is Soboslai a little bit more natural position. But Curtis Jones, I was very shocked how he performed. I was very shocked. I didn't see him yesterday at all. Similar to another one of my players I'm going to get into. But Curtis Jones was not good. He was not good. Simply put, I'm going to give Curtis Jones a 5.
5's about average.
Oh, never mind then. I think you said 7 was average.
No, I said 5 and 6 range is about average.
Oh, I'm giving Jones a stinking 3.
Into the attack. Cody Gakpo on the left.
Yeah, Cody Gakpo, like I said, he's been in these debates with Luis Diaz of who's actually going to take that left mid / left wing position. And I think yesterday he has fortified that he, really wants that because he cooked. That guy cooked. He's not as pacey. He's not as gifted in terms of dribbling as Luis Diaz. But if there's one thing this guy could do, is hit the ball with the laces. This man could absolutely hit that ball to his laces. He reminds it's basically just mirroring Salah. Every time he gets the ball,
I'd expect any professional footballer to be able to hit the ball with the laces. To be fair, I'm not trying to root Gakpo of the credit because I'll probably say he was probably your brightest attacker of the match. However, as a professional footballer, you should be able to hit a ball with with your laces.
I mean, yes, that is true, but at the same time, when you look at where he is hitting these balls, it's always outside the box. He is always hitting the balls outside the box, and it always comes with some sort of precision. Like I said, it's like he's kind of like a mirrored version of Salah. He's except for going for the left, he's always going for the right side of the netting. That is like his specialty, and that's exactly how his goal performed yesterday. And the thing about Gakpo, he's always he's usually clinical and usually comes in clutch when we need him. I mean, he's a baller. First off, in my opinion, he was one of the better players in the Euros. Last summer, he was a treat to watch, but he was genuinely pretty good yesterday. But like I said, Cody Gakpo has been phenomenal this season, so I have high standards, and it seems yesterday he did kind of meet those standards. Our best attacker without a doubt yesterday. So I'm gonna be nice with Gakpo. He kind of helped us. He helped us equalize. First off, I'm gonna give Gakpo an 8. Great player.
Mo Salah.
Usually Salah is a player that a lot
Gets his against Manchester United as always. What is it now? 16 goals in all. 16 was it Premier League goals or goals in all competitions against
16 all competitions against Manchester United. And I think 12 of those are Premier League. 12 of those are Premier League.
And he scores against the most. So
he's the most. I think after that it's 8. I think from Suarez or Gerrard, one of those two. But still, he loves scoring against Manchester United. But yesterday it seemed it seems like the Christmas tree post was slowly creeping its way onto the pitch. I'm sure you've heard about that curse that Salah always goes through.
We'll see. I mean, you have Nottingham Forest in the following weeks, so it'll be a real test.
You know what's a side note about that? Seeing how Forest is performing this season is making me feel less and less bad about losing to Forest. I think if this was last year, then I'd be pretty pissed off.
If you lose against Forest, Forest will have done the double over you guys. Remember?
Yeah. Yeah, but Salah.
I'm actually remembered. You're just like. Fuck.
No. I'm out of all games this season we've had, not even against Madrid, not even against City, I am actually pretty nervous for this informed Forest. It seems like almost nothing is stopping them. But Salah yesterday,
apart from the penalty, didn't see much of it.
Apart from the penalty, like I said, I should have said who when you said Mo Salah, but he's the greatest player in the world, so I'm going to cut him some slack. He had 2 shots off targets. He had a block shot. He had 1 shot on target, 2, including the penalty. But all Salah did that game was convert the penalty, which he got lucky. If that ball had a little bit less pace, I'm not saving that. But yesterday, Salah I'm not even going to fully blame Salah for his performance yesterday because it seems first off, Van Dijk, Konate, and everybody else sending long balls to Salah. They weren't sending accurate long balls. And we know that Salah thrives on long balls at all times. He cuts through the defense, and whatnot, but it did not work. And Salah was also fouled 3. I'm pretty sure he was the most fouled player. He got fouled yesterday 3 times. So it's they contained Salah, but Salah I think was just overconfident. I think that's what it was, which is slightly problematic because he was overconfident in 2 aspects. 1 being the best player in the world, and 2 being the top scorer against Manchester United, and especially for a game that had a lot of a lot of talk surrounding it, and seeing how Salah doesn't really reply or take social media well, which is why he stays off of it. I think that kind of made an impact on him yesterday, and Salah wasn't really able to do anything. So my GOAT, I am going to give him, he made the pen, but he always scores the pens. But I'm going to give Salah a 5. I can't believe I'm saying this. I'm giving Salah an average performance. The only redeeming factor of him was converting that penalty. Just for that to be discounted a couple of minutes later by Dallo.
And up front, Luis Diaz.
Well, how did you describe Diaz? You said that bum Diaz.
You already know.
Yeah, I think it's kind of a back and forth thing because at that time when you first told me that comment, I kind of agreed and kind of disagreed, saying no, he's going to come back and he's been doing great. But like I said, you can't really expect much from an individual who is playing out of position usually. I'm pretty sure last game he was playing as a poacher instead of a false 9, but this game he was playing more of a false 9. This is not where Diaz thrives. Diaz thrives on the left wing. He's a lot better at dribbling. He's a lot pacier than Gakpo, but he's not as clinical on that left. as Gakpo could be. So I guess Slot saw the results of what occurred against West Ham. 1 second. And previous games when he had Gakpo and Diaz in the same lineup. But yesterday he was not good. Simple as that. He was always getting marked, and Diaz is not, I wouldn't say he's the strongest player. So of course by the likes of Harry Maguire, he's gonna push Diaz around. He's not gonna let Diaz through, who could outpace and out dribble Maguire. But yesterday it was obvious that guy is not used to that false nine position. It was very obvious. But at the same time, what are you gonna do? Are you gonna tell Gakpo, hey, sit on the bench? I'm gonna put you as a striker, Gakpo can play as a striker, but that's also not his position. I can't fully blame Diaz, but at the same time, I can, because when you're operating as a false nine, your objective is not only to put balls in the back of the net, but also help build up the play. And it seems like that wasn't there. It seems like that passion from Diaz, where he's usually always running for the ball, not at defenders, it wasn't there. And I think this was a really surprising game from Diaz, who has been like one of our better players. The thing is, it's kind of weird to say one of our better players this season when our players have been pretty good this season. But this is a very, very, very below average performance from Diaz. But like I said, I got to cut him some slack based on his out of position role. So Diaz, that bum Diaz, as you say, I'm gonna give him a 4. This was surprising.
Into the substitutes, I'll start with Diogo Jota off the bench.
Diogo, let's see what I have written here. Jota.
I think you can give him a fair rating. I think, and I'll throw Nunez in there as well. I think they came around the same time. They had about half an hour to play.
Yeah. Here's the thing about Jota is, besides being a glass cannon, this guy knows how to score goals. This guy knows how to put the ball in the back of the net. But at the same time, when you're subbed in with not that much time left and the pressure is flowing through you, there's not much you could really do. Most of the time, Jota, statistically, he is a lot better as a starter than he is as a super sub. But I mean, you can't really blame Slot when this guy always gets injured. But I think in the 29 minutes that he played, he played a lot more better than Diaz did. He had a lot more passes. He had a lot of he had more opportunities to shoot, but he did. Oh, also one thing I forgot about mentioning about Diaz, you got to shoot the ball when you have it. You got to shoot the ball when you have it. Diaz had the ball a couple of times, and he knows how to shoot the ball. Like you said, that's his job. That is his job. Shoot the ball. But Jota, I mean, when you put him in that late, when Manu starts parking the bus a little bit more defensively, it's kind of hard to break through, especially when you don't have that tempo and rhythm going. So Jota, I can't be really too harsh on him. He had a decent performance in the 29 minutes that I saw him play. XG wasn't that high. I think it was 0.26. But for a subbed on individual, I guess that's not that bad. His passes were pretty good. I'm gonna give Jota. There's a lot of things I got to cut Jota some slack for, but I'm gonna give Jota a 6.
Darwin Núñez, I think he came on at around the same time. We'll see for Harvey Elliott and Connor Bradley's just standard 5s. They didn't have enough time, so we'll just say
they didn't have enough time. Yeah,
I think Núñez could warrant an actual rating. So
yeah, I guess side note. Okay, well, first off, side note about Bradley. I'm gonna say is when Slot finally decided, hey, it's time to put this baller right back in. Bradley was actually playing for the badge. There was a huge juxtaposition of emotions and passion that Connor Bradley had and Trent had. And I don't know if you've seen this earlier, but Connor Bradley's performance this season has had talks and saying oh, Trent better step it up because Connor Bradley's coming first position. And when you have someone saying that you are catching up to one of the best right backs in the world, that's your talent. And yesterday he kind of displayed it, but he didn't have enough time. But anyways, moving on to Núñez. This guy is like the Vinicius of the Premier League. He does not know how to contain his emotions by any means.
Carlos Vinicius?
No. Vinny Jr.
Surely you must mean Carlos Vinicius, the striker Vinicius, Carlos Vinicius. Surely.
No,
Davis. Do not tell me I just heard it. In any context, in any case, any scenario, Vinny Jr. and Darwin Núñez in the same sentence.
I'm explaining. They both
even
have
if it's emotions.
Horrible anger issues. They both have horrible anger issues. The difference is Vinicius actually scores goals. That's the huge difference. That's why obviously I'm not going to put it at the same caliber. But I mean, that tackle on Delict What the actual hell, dude?
That
What
wasn't
are
even
you
a tackle.
doing?
That was like
That was assault. That was assault. That is battery. That is attempted murder. Because you saw, I mean, you also saw this. He looked at Delict. He knew where Delict was positioned and still proceeded to go with that. Nunez is
made
lucky
eye
that he did
contact
not.
with the player and still went
Yeah,
forward.
he made eye
Michael
contact. He
Oliver,
saw
you
like
absolute scrub. You disgraceful referee.
every prem ref is a bum. Every prem
Not
ref is
with
a
him
bum.
in this
But
game. But anyways, Darwin Nunez.
but yeah, but Darwin Nunez. I mean, when you're all like, I also think Nunez is kind of stupid in the
I
aspect
think he's
that when
suspended
you're
too now.
oh
I
he
think
is
he
yeah
got booked.
yes
He's
he got 5 yellow cards
5 yellow
already.
cards in a row. He's suspended.
How the
Anyways,
hell are you getting 5 yellow cards as a striker to begin with? That is ridiculous. That is
mostly off the bench.
absolutely that is
Mostly off the
ridiculous.
bench too.
Yeah, I mean that makes it even worse. There is a reason why Nunez doesn't start. He is just not good enough. Simply put, Nunez is not good enough. Like he is just so inconsistent, and for a team that is competing in the Champions League and trying to secure this title, he is not showing that. He is not showing that at all whatsoever. And then he has chances to redeem himself. A lot of players when subbed on for Liverpool make a pretty big difference, but Nunez is just unfortunately not one of those individuals that makes a difference either as a bench warmer or as a starter. This guy is so inconsistent. It really
For this
pisses me
game.
off. Oh, for this game, yes. Sorry, I got really off track.
No worries. Carry on if you need me.
I mean, regardless, yeah. Like I said, there's not much Nunez can do as a sub line. He only played like half an hour. He had a couple, he had one dribble. He won a duel, but that's literally it. Apart from that, he is not like he was not a striker yesterday. But at the same time, Salah and Salah and Gakpo couldn't really get that ball to him. He couldn't get that ball. But I did appreciate, like I said before, his intensity and his passion by playing yesterday, because no matter what opponent it is, he always shows it. But it would have been nice if he actually did something. So yesterday, this is going to be pretty. My standards for Nunez are low, so I'm going to give him an average rating of 5, which in terms of other players, that's like a 2. But I'm going to give Nunez a 5.
And lastly, before we look at the other side of the coin, as we spent so much time on Liverpool, and we have to visit the other side of the coin as well, give the equal attention. Arne Slot.
This was the most tactically incorrect game that he's played this entire season. These are biggest rivals. You have to know what to do. Slot is usually a mastermind at having these lineups and having these positioning roles. But I think in terms of how he operated yesterday, of not subbing out Trent a lot sooner, not subbing out Curtis Jones a lot sooner. Well, first off, starting Curtis Jones was a sin. His initial mistakes was putting Diaz as a false 9, starting Curtis Jones, and not subbing out Trent at halftime, or arguably after that first Martinez goal. I just think Arne Slot had too much, even the manager himself, who hasn't been part of this this rivalry like Klopp has for the past 7 years. Slot was new to this, and so.
To be fair, I think any manager in the world doesn't need a whole lot of educating to know the rivalry between Liverpool and Manchester United. It's one of the most historic, one of the most fiercest, one of the most ferocious, footballing rivalries that the game has ever seen. So,
yes, I agree with that point, but at the same time, are you going to compare the experiences that Klopp had, having this Manchester, having this Northwestern derby, for the past 7 years versus Slot? Obviously, there's going to be a lot more overconfidence when you're just coming in Liverpool have historically dominated this team. I'm going to be fine. I just think that was also overconfidence by Slot. However, a redeeming factor he did have was after the game. He always knows what to say. I just think, however, he should have been a lot more straightforward about the Trent issue and just said that he was garbage and not say, oh no, it wasn't that he the Madrid thing has gone to his head, when it clearly has gone into his head. I just think Slot has to be honest in that regard, and he made a lot of changes. I mean, Connor Bradley, he's a baller. That guy should have been playing the moment the second half whistle went on. Jota should have been playing a lot sooner, especially with Diaz. Nunez shouldn't have seen that pitch, nor Curtis. And I think I don't know what he has against. I'm not gonna say he has something against Endo. I think he should have put an Endo for Curtis and had Endo and Grab working as those box to box, and maybe have Harvey Elliott as a CAM.
It's a duo 6.
Yeah, I mean, having a dual 6, especially for a Man U side who was attacking more than Liverpool, which is surprising to hear. I mean, sure, sure, Man U was attacking a lot more on the wings, but at the same time, controlling the midfield is how Liverpool has operated this season. That's how Grav has gotten good. So I'm surprised Slot has made these tactical mismatches. This was poor. This was poor from Slot, without a doubt. I'm going to give Slot. Is the manager rating also the same? Where 5 and 6 is also like average.
Yep, same thing.
Like I said, Klopp has been the best manager this season besides Nuno, but this was poor. This is poor.
Slot. Or did you say Klopp?
I think it's a Slot.
Oh, okay. For a minute, I thought I heard Klopp. I'm just like, he's at
I mean, they sound the same. I mean, no, you can't replace Klopp. Maybe I did say Klopp. Slot, his average performances have been great, but this is abysmal. I can't believe I'm saying that. I'm giving Slot a 4.
All right. Fair enough. That's the Liverpool side of things. Now, let's flip to the other side of the coin. For you, Kenneth, what are your biggest talking points that you can think of that you just want to throw out for discussion? Manchester United. Bit of a role reversal.
I think Maguire is getting a lot of hate for that missed chance that he had towards the end. When at the same time, I am disagreeing with that. Xerxes, what the hell? Why are you giving someone a bouncing pass?
No, I don't care. You're a professional footballer, being paid almost $200,000 a week.
He's a center back, Davis. Maguire is a center back.
Footballer at any level. I don't care what position you are. Any footballer from I don't know, from like under 4s to top Premier League professional footballers. We've seen the drills. Run around the cones. A ball gets thrown to you inside left. Ball gets thrown to your other foot inside right. If Harry Maguire had just done a proper instep, if he had just slotted it with the inside of his foot, leaned over the ball, he's scoring no matter where it goes, because it's an open goal. You are a professional footballer. Yes, the pass wasn't the greatest from Xerxes, but you have to be an absolute moron. And I'm not, and with all due respect, you'd have to be an absolute idiot to think that it's even remotely Xerxes' fault. And this is not because I'm an advocate for Xerxes, which I am.
Xerxes, you're an advocate for Xerxes.
Because he's one that's an easy
Xerxes
target,
is a striker.
He's an easy escape.
Xerxes is a striker.
He's an easy target. He's an easy
either
scapegoat.
You pass that ball on the ground to the center back, or you take it and shoot it yourself. You get, like you said earlier,
he done the right thing. He's not scoring. No, you're not going to score from the angle. He done the right thing. That's the right pass. It's the right decision to make. That's not on Xerxes at all. That's purely on Harry Maguire's inability to simply lean over the ball and use the inside of his right foot. Instead, he blasted over, and Liverpool got away with one. So no, that's not on Joshua Xerxes. Did you see our striker for 85 minutes? How about we talk about him?
What's his name?
The guy who I
Rasmus
have to
Haaland?
talk about every single installment, who have to argue, debate about the fact how there is a Haaland and Jackson debate, and now I had to now I had to fight that war for so long that Jackson's fucking better than Haaland, because he is, and he's showing it this season that Jackson's better than Haaland. He's a million times better than him. Haaland cannot hit the target. Everyone says, no service. Haaland gets no service. No service. My phone out in the middle of nowhere will still score more chances against Alisson, one-on-one on goal, in the middle of the desert, which literally has no service, than any time you see Rasmus Haaland on the pitch. That guy is absolute dross. When he's not being played in behind with the ball, what does he offer you? Sod all. Haaland offers you nothing. But some of the fan base is finally just waking up and seeing that Haaland actually isn't great. Fun fact, Haaland costs £3 million less than Jadon Sancho when we signed him. But no one's ever going to talk about that. Xerxes, I'm seeing a very similar I'm seeing very similar parallels. The abuse that he gets, that he's been getting from these top Reds, happened to Martial, happened to Pogba, happened to Sancho. Casemiro got scapegoated. Kobe Manu has been getting scapegoated. Ahmad's been scapegoated. What do all those guys have in common? These top Reds never fucking learn. They always scapegoat the wrong players and try and force out the wrong players. Yet they want to build up. So they wanted to get Sancho off the club. So who? Rashford and Garnacho could survive? Sure, Garnacho got the assist, which a million times I've said off the bench is his best position. which, of course, when you're going up against a tired fullback, especially if it's Trent Alexander-Arnold, Trent, guess what? You're going to get some joy if you're Alejandro Garnacho because he uses his pace. This guy has the ego of CR7 that has the ability of, I don't even know, man. Has the ability of who? Jack Harrison. No, that's probably disrespectful to Jack Harrison at that point. No, that's a disrespect to Jack Harrison. No, not even him. Not even Jack Harrison. It's a disrespect to him, bro. Like, this guy's got the ego of CR7 and the ability of Magnan to play on the pitch. I'm telling you, this guy is not it. But he come off the bench, got the assist, he got his stats for the day. It's whatever, right? Those two guys have been a problem. And that's a part of that former manager's legacy. Those two in particular. Because Højlund and that former absolute fraud shared the same agency. Our main target was Harry Kane going to summer. How do you go from Harry Kane being your number one target for a striker to Rasmus Højlund, who was a rotational player at Atalanta and scored 9 goals in all competitions for that season, and who just signed from Copenhagen a year before? So, yeah.
Trajectory there, yeah. I mean, Man U kind of dug its own grave with that signing. There's no way around it.
What do you think are like some other like big major talking points, questions to throw out for Man United?
Oh, a bit of I think Fernandes was brilliant yesterday. Fernandes was absolutely brilliant yesterday.
Here's the thing with Bruno. Everyone's saying it was Bruno's best game. I mean, I agree. It's one of his best games at all because the standards are so damn low and he's been crap for so long. However, when he was moved into the 8, I'm a big fan of it because Bruno can do all he can throw all the grenades that he wants forward, and he's in a deep lying position because this guy isn't creative. I really want to see Colby being moved into a more advanced role. Into that number 10 because Colby's like a street baller. Have you ever played that game FIFA Street? Have you ever heard of that game?
FIFA Street, yes, I haven't played it.
Yeah. And if you know about FIFA Street, if you know about futsal, he's a typical street baller. He comes across. He said in his interviews, you grew up playing in the futsaling grounds and the indoors. Him and Cole Palmer are very similar types of players. That's not saying that that Colby's better than Cole Palmer because he's not. They're very similar types of players. They're number 10s. They want to play the attractive, sexy football. They're trying to play the Margot Robbie kind of football. They're not trying to play Meghan Markle football. They're not. They're not trying to play this fossil football. That the absolute fraud was restraining Colby from allowing him to play that sexy football, that champagne football. He was not allowing it. So for me, I would like to see him being played in that left 10. When Bruno was just there in that number 8 alongside Ugarte, they both can just run around, they can hoover up and then play the ball forward. Because if there's one thing Bruno can do, he can play a long ball forward. So he can help Ugarte with that because as good as
10
Ugarte
long balls yesterday, dude. That's crazy. He had 10 long balls yesterday.
How many passes did he even complete from those? I don't even know.
I'm pretty sure he had 9 crosses. Like they were 40% accurate, but still, that's a lot of grenades to be throwing.
I mean, to a certain extent, everyone talks about his chance creation, but I mean, after a while, when you constantly just spam long balls over and over and over, soon enough, surely enough, some are going to turn out to be successful when you keep doing it over and over and over.
And it works.
Spamming it over and over.
Absolutely, yeah.
No, it somehow worked.
It somehow worked, but also I think the reason why he was a little bit more noticeable yesterday, I think in his post-match interview, I don't know what you took of it. I actually want to hear your thoughts on the post-match interview. How I think that was a very, very
on what he and Amram had to say. One of the few things I will say, Bruno, well done for saying. I fully agree with you. There's not a single part of it, despite knowing the fact how I do wholeheartedly and 100% agreeing back when you were saying you're annoyed. You should be annoyed, upset, angry, mad, pissed off because, you got up for this game. But where was the performance against Wolves? What about the performance against Bournemouth? What about the performance against Nottingham Forest?
Yeah.
You were absent or / one of the worst players in all 3 of those fixtures. So I'm not trying to hear that at the same time when you think about it. But he's not wrong. And Amarim said the same thing. Amarim looked... Just looking at his facial expression, he looked fuming with these players. He looked absolutely seething on that touchline. And honestly, I don't blame him. when he said after the game, I'm not happy. We should have grabbed 3 points. He's right. We should have grabbed 3 points, not just one. In the context of the game, going into it, all of our fan base is saying,
you guys should have won that.
Pray to your God and save us. That's what we're all thinking going into that match. But after the match, once thinking, hey, we probably could have walked away with all 3 points, if you think about it, because Liverpool was so poor. But I said this as well. For Liverpool and what you were ripping Trent for not, I wouldn't say playing for the badge, but what I'd say more than anything, it should not be very difficult. It should take actually zero motivation, especially in this game. For Trent, it should be, when you hear the words Manchester United, you should already be either laughing, taking the piss, or angry, or wanting to inflict damage. It shouldn't take any motivation apart from hearing Manchester United to actually get up for a game against Manchester United. It should take no motivation.
I agree.
That fixture in and of itself should have all the motivation needed. It's a derby. There should be, it shouldn't take any sort of motivation. If you have to get someone up for that game, you're not fit to wear the badge of Liverpool. You're not fit to wear the badge of Man United. If you need,
he's also Scouse. He's known about this. He's known about this since he was born. It's been indoctrinated. He's Liverpool bred. He's Liverpool born and raised. Like, this should be something that's been indoctrinated in him since he was a young. And why I'm saying this is because it's very easy to get up for this kind of game. However, I also want to see this performance, us get up for the FA Cup game against Arsenal. I want to see, get up for the game against Southampton, get up for the game against Brighton, get up for those games as well. Not just the Liverpools and the Cities, when we're playing, when we're on our backs and all that. The same energy should be applied to every single game. So I'm hoping this is a start of maybe a slow recovery, so we can at least maybe finish upper half of the table, please. But that might be a stretch. To ask for. What is your prediction for where you guys
going to finish? Where's Man going to finish, bro? Between 10th and 15th, and get fucking used to it. Between 10th and 15th is where we're finishing. If we finish any higher than 10th, I'll be stunned. But how well some of these other teams have been playing. Because the teams in like the 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th have been better than us. Even Tottenham can score goals. We can't. And as much criticism as Postecoglou's been receiving,
oh my God.
His system is why they've been able to score goals. He's getting goals from Brennan Johnson.
Spurs are one of the most entertaining sides to watch. It's great.
However, of course, they have their deficiencies. But sticking with Man United, I thought Onana done well. Made several key saves. Got a hand to that Salah penalty, but just wasn't enough. I went the right way. But again, I'm not getting hoodwinked with Onana. He made me look like an absolute right mug when I said, first half of the season, he's one of the best goalkeepers in the league. Look how many times he saved us. And then the Onana of last year came back to haunt me. And I'm just like, okay, yeah, no. You broke my trust, man. You broke me again, bro. You can't do that to me twice, man. Nah. But
yeah,
he down the wall, give him his flowers. The back three, De Ligt. For the penalty, I'm not too sure. Because if you think about it, where else is he supposed to put his hands? That's sort of, it's instinctual. Where else is he supposed to move his hand? Is he supposed to just put it in his pocket or something? And some of you saying it's not a penalty, but when you look at it from that angle, is it in somewhat of an unnatural position? Yes, but it's sort of instinctual. Because, in that scenario, are you just going to put your hand in your pocket, put it behind your back?
Right, but it's still blocking the. It's still, regardless, it's still blocking the ball. It's still blocking McAllister's header. Yeah,
I still stand by it. The decision, which Michael Oliver, you absolute disgrace of a referee. I am never someone to solely blame a referee for losing a game, and I'm not blaming Michael Oliver for us not getting a win here. However,
it's not the handball from Gravenberch.
He gave call after call after call after call for Liverpool. It took him so long to even book one of their to book one of your players. So long. Honestly, just for me, he gets a 0. He gets the lowest player ratings of them all. The referee does. But anyways, the back three I think done this job. Lissandro, I told you about Lissandro. I said if you play him against Salah, I'm going to see millions of memes on my Instagram, and I'm not going on my socials. Well, actually, it's the other because for ages I'm seeing I'm seeing that meme where it's like 5'3" and an attitude, 5'3" and an attitude. It's like this little like thing of like is AI thing of like Andrew.
I have.
I'm just
Have
like,
you seen the Martinez and Snow at Anfield one? Where it's like Martinez and 2 centimeters worth of snow, and it just shows Martinez like with the snow up to his nose. I need to find that. That's you.
No,
That's pretty good.
I haven't. But Lenny Earl, again, every game that Lenny Earl has played in, he's not had very easy oppositions or wingers to play against, and he's done largely fairly well.
He crushed Nunez yesterday. That was a crucial tackle.
But even Gakpo, Gakpo went off, I think, before he even went on. Playing against Martinelli's not that hard. But he's gone up against the likes of Hudson-Odoi, Anthony Gordon, Heung-min Son, Cunha. These aren't easy, players to go up against, and he done fairly well, and he done well again. Very tremendous tackle from him. For me, De Ligt was okay, but De Ligt had a stinker, man. But he wasn't horrendous, but he just wasn't great. Which he's actually done all right this season. But again, another one could be made an easy scapegoat, but not the best. But I won't say he was dreadful, but just really not the greatest. And even Lissandro as well, done okay, but at the same time, he was still getting somewhat bullied in the air. But those balls were coming to him, and Liverpool kept targeting our left-hand side because they knew that was our weak point. But little did we know, we were targeting their right-hand side because we all know why we were targeting their right-hand side. Diogo Dalot, I've said it for ages, bro. I said, look, he had a good season, but bro, money comes in, sell, cash in, because he's not an attack-minded wing. He's a very good overlapping fullback who can put a good cross in the box in a 4, not in a 5. Which is why we need a new left wing back. Same with Mazraoui. I love Mazraoui. For me, he's the signing of the Premier League season. He's the best signing of this season. And you want to know why? 12 million for a player. And yes, recency bias and all that. But every game that this guy has played, bar maybe a few, 7 out of 10 minimum. This guy's been absolutely exceptional. 12 million from Bayern Munich. Thank you very much, Bayern Munich. Thank you very much. So, no, this guy's been very good. But a wing back, he can play there, but it's not his best position. It's better to have him in one of the 3 in the center back roles. Kobe I thought was more meh than good, but better, improved.
Yeah.
But what happened again? Just like in the game at Old Trafford, anytime Kobe wanted to get on the ball, got pressed immediately, wasn't given the time, and there'd be times where he'd done better to maintain possession of the ball, but again, in times where he's trying to wiggle his way out of tight spaces, like he just naturally does, he loses the ball, which again shows he's not a number 8. He's not a defensively minded player. But my fear is that that's what the manager and what this club is going to mold him into. Ugarte, again, this guy can't possible more than 5 yards. However, he bossed the midfield battle. Yesterday was very, very good because he did what he does best, just sits, defends, and destroys. Basically, he's nowhere near as good as Gravenberg or McAllister technically, but it's on his job. But even then, I'd still say we were still losing the midfield battle.
Right. Yeah. There was a mismatch of quality for our midfield, but you guys were winning the wing battles. That's for sure.
And just for the front 3, Bruno, I've already said enough. Osmus Højlund, bro, just please. I heard Juve want to do a swap deal with Xerxes and Vlahovic. Vlahovic is an improvement, goal scoring wise. However, could we just agree to the deal and send Højlund in a Xerxes costume or something?
I thought you guys were trying to sign Gyökeres.
Gyökeres is great. However, the problem with Gyökeres is that Sporting want 100 million. And the one thing I don't want to see, I'm not saying I don't want Sporting players. I do not want, just like the last manager did, and which I'm glad Ineos is here, and we have sporting directors, and we have footballing people in charge, to just have a sporting reunion at the club.
I
don't
mean, I
want that.
guess not, but at the same time, like you're only getting like one player from Sporting at the end, but also like I
If
think
I'm looking at a player at
to-
Sporting, I wouldn't even, this may sound crazy, but bro, Gyökeres is going to go for 100 million, and there are clubs in far better positions and are far more attractive destinations than us right now. Why on earth would he sign for Man United? Apart from if we somehow offer him crippling
the
wages.
hope of rebuilding. Simple.
No, but
The hope of rebuilding.
no, but Gyökeres is ready to go
it's
to
also
an
Man
elite
U. Come
club
on,
right
man.
now. Man United by name, but he's ready to go to an elite club that are competing for things right now. And Arsenal is an Arsenal. I don't know.
Hey, Davis, you
Honestly,
said
Liverpool.
you said clubs competing for stuff. I don't know why you're mentioning Arsenal. Like,
Like it or not,
Arsenal.
Arsenal are title contenders. They're not title winners, but they're title challengers, or at least challenging. And I'm not for one minute. I'm not for 1 minute giving Arteta any credit, because in phase 5 of Arteta, you should have won a trophy by now. And if he doesn't win it
next season, FC,
uncomfortable conversations need to happen. However, you can see that Arsenal are clear competitors, contenders for the league for this year and the 2 years before. Yes, they bottled it, but guess what? They're able to build up to that point. You don't go from in 15th in December, right, to title challenging the next season. Right now, what we need are players that can help us get to that point. I look at around the league. I can probably take a player from each side in the Premier League, drop them into Man United, and they instantly improve us in any position. Give me any club in the Premier League, I'll tell you a player that we can drop from their team into our team, and that instantly improves us. Go on, give me any club in the Premier League.
Ipswich.
Liam
That's
Delap.
pretty easy. Yeah,
I rate that kid, bro. He's a long-term for me. He's a long-term replacement and poster boy of English strikers to lead the line for England post Harry Kane. I think so.
I guess we'll do another one. Besides Cunha, what about Wolves?
Ait Nouri. Brilliant. A wing back. He's perfect for the system that we play.
That's
instant upgrade.
Brighton.
João Pedro. I could say João Pedro. I could say, if I could take one player, I'd probably take Baleba instead. But João Pedro and Baleba, both of them, instant upgrades in both positions.
You wouldn't take Mitoma?
He's good, but our sort of wingers, they're not wingers, they're inverted tens. They're not out and out wingers. For example, and Eze would fit the system more than a Rashford or Garnacho. Not because Eze's just miles clear them in ability, but in terms of player profile and types.
Yeah, I agree with that.
He's on out and out winger. He's an inverted 10.
Yeah, let's do
Pedro Baleba.
Let me do another one. What should be a fun one? Let's do Southampton. How about that?
Tyler Dibling, bro. We've been linked to him for a good amount of time, bro. Run me Tyler Dibling, bro. That kid can play, bro. That kid is an absolute baller. I heard Russell Martin saying Man United wouldn't sign him for they offered 21 mil. That wouldn't get his left foot, and he's sacked from a job. I found that comment so weird. And we might get him for 20-something million because you're going down into the championship and you're going to need to sell. And there's no way he's sticking around at Southampton, bro. Tyler Dibling immediately makes us better. Any club, genuinely. And it's a damning indictment of where we are. That Bournemouth. You can look at Bournemouth, Semenyo, very, very good.
Everyone would sign Semenyo, honestly. Semenyo is
very good. Dean Huijsen, aka Mr. Chill Guy, yes, who dropped the Chill Guy celebration at Old Trafford, which when I saw it, I just can't be asked. Milos Kirkez, Milos Kirkez, bro. You lot have been linked to him as well. About Milos.
This should be funny. This is obviously this is like an unwritten rule between Liverpool and Man U, but who would you take from us?
From Liverpool, just anyone right now.
Yes.
You're saying if I could somehow and they'll still have the same form.
Correct.
I don't give a fuck about the system, bro. I'm taking Mo Salah because, bro, we need goals. And Mo Salah, and we're assuming that Mo Salah's not going to sabotage us or anything. He's going to play for us as if he's playing for Liverpool. So yeah, I'm taking Mo Salah, bro. We're instantly in the top half of the table minimum if this guy's in the team. Because bro, we just need goals and it'll help us at the road to 40 points. So yeah, I'll take him. What about you? Before we get into, we'll slowly start to transition to the player ratings for Man United as well.
1 second. Wait, are you editing this live stream, or is the whole video going?
No, it's a live stream. It's currently live.
Okay.
Live.
It is. Yeah. You were asking what I have, like, do I have anything to say?
What player would you take from us? Same sort of principle. You could take a player from us right now and drop him into your team to start week in week out.
I
You'll be surprised.
I don't think there's any. I don't think there's any. I mean, the only player I would take is Ahmad, but I am not dropping Salah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Like it's a sad damning indictment of where we are right now. Not a single player. I mean, I'm up for the bench if you want. Get some extra attacking depth. He can play.
We do have the best attacking depth in the Prem, right? Depth in the Prem. Well, with when Chiesa wasn't injured. Ooh, by the way, we got robbed with Chiesa, but that's a point for a different.
And you spent 13 million for Arne Slot. It's just like, fuck this guy, bro. I don't want him here.
Well, he's always injured. It's not even us. This guy's always injured. That's the thing.
Bro, he was on the bench. He was fit and available for the game. He didn't play. Arne Slot said, "No, I don't want this guy here." Arne Slot says, "Like, I don't want this guy here."
Yeah, I think Salah. Yeah, I think he also didn't want to crush Salah's ego by taking him out for Chiesa. Anyways, let's move on because it's kind of I do have to go soon. Let's move on to the player ratings for Man U, right?
All right, yeah. In goal, Andre Onana. Made some decent saves, done what he could. I wouldn't say he done particularly bad. I'll give him plus a million brownie points for not being scored on right directly off of a corner. So he gets a bunch of brownie points for that.
Almost, he punched it. Yeah.
What
do you give him?
Nothing he could really do about the goals. Does an outrageous finish from Gakpo. Something he could really do. Andre Onana, I will give him a what? What will I give him? 6. I'll just give him a 6.
A 6. All right. Let's go to the right. Let's do delete.
Matthias Cilic, definitely the worst of the three, but I don't want to get a terrible game, but not great. Like 5, very, very, very average. I could easily push it to a 4.
4. Okay. Wow. Next, Harry Maguire.
Bro, Harry Maguire is one of our best players on the pitch. Yes, bar the miss. Harry Maguire bossed. And I say bossed. He pocketed your entire attack. This guy was absolutely immense. And bro, in a back three, unfortunately, bro, like you can't drop him right now. You cannot drop him. And if he wants to sign a new 2-year deal, be the Johnny Evans, that's fine. Be the new Johnny Evans. Harry Maguire gets an 8 from me. Absolutely brilliant. One of the contenders for man of the match.
Perfect. All right. Lissandro Martinez.
That goal was outrageous.
There's nothing else. There's nothing else you can do about that.
I'd say defensively definitely looked better, but still not incredibly convincing. But definitely, it's been better than what I've usually seen as of the season. But I'll give him a 6. I think that's
6.
Fair.
Wow. I thought we gave him a 7 after that outrageous goal. But you're right, he's a defender. All right, to the left, let's go with Dalot.
Diogo Dalot was very good. Very, very good. He turned into the Portuguese Cafu, Portuguese Roberto Carlos, who was right-footed. Although actually, it's a disrespect because if he had just played it on the floor into the path of Ahmad, again, there's another way we could have won that game. But the cross was behind Ahmad, so largely fairly decent today. Tor Trent, a new one, Tranmere Trent, but really just again, story of 2 halves. First half good, second half kind of faded a bit. Or when I think it was the other way around. But again, 6.
6. Okay. All All right. To the right of him, Kobe Mainu.
Kobe, you mean Mazraoui, the other wing back, bro?
Oh no, I'm saying, but like moving to the right of Dallo, like I'm going in like a line.
Oh, directly. Wait, if you're saying to the right of Dallo, was it Kobe or it doesn't matter. Kobe Mainu. Like I was saying earlier, like still more not great than good. Definitely improved. Looked better. I'll give him a 6 as well. It's definitely better than what I've seen for most of the season because he's been crap this season. He's some of my favorite players at the football club, but you got to just say it how it is. He's not been good this season, but definitely better than what I've seen for most of the season. So Kobe gets a 6. I think that's fair.
6, fair. All right. Ugarte.
8. I'm actually going to give Maguire 7 and Ugarte an 8. Manuel Ugarte, again, that was what he does best. Sits back, destroys. He does the Nemanja Matic job. Sits back, destroys, plays it to whoever's next. So plays it to Kobe or Bruno or plays it forward. That's it. But for a player who's as limited as that, for 60 million, yeah, no team's spending 60 million on that. You look at Gravenberg, Caicedo, Declan Rice, Rodri. They're all good, very good technically on the ball. Even Basuma and Sarr are all right on the ball. Bentancur's all right on the ball.
Yeah.
You know, so to a certain extent, Boubacar Kamara for Villa's another one. Baleba's another one. So to a certain extent, 50, 60 million, everyone's like, oh, worth every penny. You know, we should start like a GoFundMe, like petition to, you know, to give PSG more money. No, I absolutely not. Unless for paying them to take Rashford off our hands, I'm fine. But no. But Ugarte was absolutely brilliant. Contender for man of the match, I'll give him an 8.
Fair enough. All right, Mazraoui.
Not his best performance, just not great at wing back. I'll give him I rarely do this. I'll give him a 5.5. Again, I think he was definitely partially. He was definitely. I'd say he was mainly at fault for that. Gakpo goal because he gets sucked out wide.
He got wrecked,
and then that forces De Ligt to step out and to make that challenge. And when you're making that challenge, it can only go 2 ways. Either you look like an absolute masterclass actor, or you look like an absolute idiot. And it just happened to go the other way. So really, I blame Mazraoui for that goal, to be honest. But apart from that, he was good, but didn't wow me. But I'll give him a 5.5 to a 6.
Fair enough. All right, let's move a little bit up. Let's go to Fernandes.
Bruno, 7. I'll give Bruno a 7. To also not upset the top, these top reds too much, to not send them into too much of a meltdown because, they always start crying when I criticize Bruno too much.
Right.
But look, it's the best I've seen him for a while, but you're the captain on 300 grand a week. And let's be real. You had a good 35 minutes. You weren't good the whole game. And the first off, you were anonymous again, doing the same old. So, yeah. Bruno, but fair enough. He got his stats for the match. Done all right. I'll give him a 7.
Fair enough. All right. Ahmad.
Ineos, if there's one thing you need to do, I'm tired of hearing the final details are almost sorted. No, just announce the damn contract being signed. This kid loves this club. This kid wants to be here. This is quite frankly probably the only player, arguably the one player in this entire football club that I can look at and say, this kid can play week in and week out for us in a title-winning side. Arguably. The only one. Always has showed up in the big games. Man City created the penalty. Bruno scored the other goal against Man City. And he dunked on fucking Liverpool's head top yet again. Sent them crying in the FA Cup, and he sent them crying again in this game. Ahmad, please. Just, please stay. I know you want to stay, but my star boy, I'm not calling him the Ivorian Messi. Because I've seen that too much. But, bro, he's a special, special talent. Honestly. Turns up in the big moments. It wasn't even his greatest performance. But, I mean, you saw the way Robbo was struggling. The amount of fouls this guy won. Because Robbo just couldn't keep up with him. And Robbo also, partially to his stupidness as well, was grabbing his shirt, pulling his arm, looking stunned when when Michael Oliver actually called something. So, no, but big up Ahmad as well for the goal. Very unlucky because the cross was behind him for that first opportunity. But I will say for Ahmad, again, not his best performance, but I'll give him a 6.5 I'll give him a 7.
Yeah, I would say for all that praise, he deserves a 7 at least. All right, last one of the starting 11, Højlund.
Complete contrast. 0-0-0. How the fuck did this guy last like 75, 80 minutes? But then again, everything everyone knows me knows when I think about this guy.
Dude.
86 minutes. This guy lasted longer than Trent.
Yeah.
How the fuck did he last longer than Trent? He was somehow arguably worse than Trent.
Without a doubt. I agree.
All this guy does, it's cardio and vibes. Cardio and running around like a headless chicken. On my life, please. Do not sell the wrong striker. Top Reds, please. Get your head out of your asses with the agendas. Regardless of how they're motivated. Right? Whether it's league-wise, whether it's racially, I don't give a fuck. I don't care anymore. Stop with the bullshit stereotypes and agendas. Bro, when you look at the footballers in general, Xerxes offers you more as an overall footballer because at least he can link play, run the channels. And when you put players around him that can actually link with him, he actually does all right. Yeah. Remember, Højlund had to run a 16 on games where he couldn't score a single Premier League goal. It took him until December 26, 2023 to score his first Premier League goal. And it was just, he doesn't have the service and all that. Xerxes doesn't get service either. But you want to know why I see him on the ball a lot more, playing the ball, spraying it out wide to the channels because he gets himself involved more. And for what we have right now, people are saying, oh, Højlund fits the system. Right now, for what we've got, play your best players. Yes, to a certain extent, play, players that fit the system and all that. But right now, play with what you got. And Xerxes will benefit the team more than Højlund, and I don't care what anyone says, and I'm tired of fucking hearing it. I'm tired of hearing Xerxes slander. It's the same slander that I heard from Martial, for Pogba, for Sancho, for Ahmad, and now Kobe. It's the same fucking pattern. So Højlund, just 72 million, 3 million less than Sancho, 0. And just, please, just find someone for him. If we can't do it in January, in the summer, 0, 0, 0, 0.
Fair enough. I don't think you really like Højlund that much. I guess let's move on to his replacement, Xerxes.
Xerxes had what? He came on he had about 10 minutes? So hard to really to give him a score. Although people are going to start slandering him for the pause switch. No, you idiots. Don't do that, please.
Yeah,
don't do it. I don't care if it's wobbling. And they didn't like some of these softwares they were just waiting to find one off thing to just go in. Pause. They were just finding one thing. And the pass wasn't exactly clear. All right, yeah, Xerxes' fault. It's bullshit. Maguire, you're a professional footballer and almost 200 grand a week. I don't care if you're a centre back. I don't care. I don't care if it's Maguire, Onana, my nan. If it was you in front of that goal, I don't care. You probably would have skied it over to sabotages. But even you probably still would have scored it. I don't care. It's an empty net. It's a simple tap in. You hit it anywhere if you hit on the ground, it's going in. So, but Xerxes didn't have enough minutes to warrant a ranking. Standard 5.
Fair enough. Garnacho.
Everyone knows my thoughts on him as well. Another scrub. However, he done what he done. Messi came off the bench and impacted the game. Running out of tired fullback. So Garnacho's the best. I've said it since he broke into the team. He is super sub. He is a very good super sub. I wouldn't say as clutch as McTominay was, even though he's rubbish as well. But you can bring off the bench for a little injection of pace. And what did I say earlier? He's got the ego of Cristiano Ronaldo. And he's got the footballing ability of Adam Armstrong. So I don't know what to say. But Garnacho, he got his assist for the day. And I mean, even when Ahmad scored, Garnacho's wheeling away in the other direction. I'm just like, bro, please just stop. Stop. You're not CR7. Because CR7 used to do that all the time. And Garnacho's doing the same thing. And I'm just like, okay, it's enough. You, Bruno, Rashford, Mount, and Luke Shaw can all just need to just leave. All of you need to leave. And Højlund as well. But anyways, Garnacho, apart from the assist, didn't really do anything. But give him credit where it is. I guess I'll give him a 5 as well.
Fair. All right, last but not least, Lenny Yoro.
Done well. He looks like an amazing investment. There was a debate in the summer. the Liverpool fans, because Liverpool linked with Euro, then they didn't want him, and then he signed for United, and then there was a whole like Jarrell Quansah, Lenny Euro debates. So help me if I ever hear that debate ever again, I'm going to lose my mind. So all my life, I do not want to hear that debate ever again. But for what he done, come off the bench, looked good. Didn't play much, but love that tackle on Nunes. Absolute class. 6. Standard 6.
Fair enough.
Don't have enough time to do much.
And kind of running out of time here, Davis. But Amarim.
Ruben Amorim, the manager, I think tactically got most of it right. I think he had to play Bruno in this game. For legs, he had to play Ugarte. We needed him in there as well. So I think most of the team he got tactically spot on. But if there's one thing that I want him to stop doing, please stop playing Rasmus Højlund. Stop playing Rasmus Højlund, please. And also some games, try playing Cass and Ugarte. Rude figured out in 3 games that was our best midfield. Why not try the pair? Why not try them? They complement each other. But Amorim, done all right. I'll give the guy, I don't know, a 6. And there you have it. There has been your live stream, the post-match breakdown, Liverpool 2, Manchester United 2. And we will see you in the next one.